The way that Meghan Markle was looking at Larry King, by this point, by the way, an octogenarian, he had left CNN and he was working for quite a bit part TV channel, but he was rich, Lady C, and he was close to death. So the way that Meghan Markle was quite obviously flirting with him in this unearthed interview has gone viral because a lot of people are talking about what it showed she was looking for just before she met Prince Harry. I wonder if you agree, Lady C, but let's take a look at this first. Here's a reminder of what happened.
Who Meghan is Rachel?
Rachel is the paralegal at the firm.
Seductive?
I don't know. Do you think so, Larry? I don't know. Do you think so, Larry?
I mean, she knows what she was doing, right? And that was on camera. Imagine what she was like off camera.
I don't need to imagine, Dan. I've been told.
Tell me.
I've been told she's fearsome. Fearsome, and that she's fearsomely good in the sack.
And she was trying to make that point to Mr. King, who at that point was, I guess, in his 80s.
The point that she made repeatedly as she was climbing the ladder vertically and making sure that everybody knew that she also had horizontal dimensions as attributes. So she was extremely seductive. And I gather that it wasn't just, shall we say, illusory. The promise was fulfilled. She knew what she was doing, and she did it very well. Good luck to her, and good for her,
Yeah, Lady C. So this is what Milo Yiannopoulos posted, and it's got the world talking, Lady C, because for people who don't know, Milo Yiannopoulos, a very controversial American political figure, but he's been right first on a load of stuff that the mainstream media have avoided. So he posted, Lady C, I spent a weekend on this, and I am convinced, they've used multiple different children in the photo because he was originally sparked by that picture that Meghan Markle posted of Prince Harry on Father's Day. You know, the one where their heads are sort of covered again and there's a whole load of AI Photoshop manipulation used with the picture, which we discussed earlier in the week here. And he says, B, at least one pregnancy was via surrogate, making the child ineligible for the line of succession. C, she wore a moon bump or other fake pregnancy tummy. Now, obviously, Lady C, we have discussed these so-called theories in detail in the past, and we have also discussed the lengths that we went to try and get Buckingham Palace to cooperate so that we were able to try and pursue this potentially massive seismic scandal, which is still being allowed to go on, and we failed to do so.
Absolutely, you're right. The situation is still unresolved, and
unresolved. That's the word. So what's interesting to me, Lady C, is that Milo Yiannopoulos, not someone that we talk a lot about on the Royal After Show, but certainly a major figure in US political circles. Do you think him weighing in so publicly on this on Elon Musk's X, where he has a very engaged political following in the US, will make any difference? Or the mainstream media continue to ignore it, so actually the palace can just keep on ignoring it too?
And I honestly don't see that it can make much of a difference, because the palace and the mainstream media and you and I are all constrained by certain legal, shall we say, hurdles that we'd have to jump over. This is not America. In America, you can make an accusation, and if somebody sues you for making the accusation, and you depose them in a deposition, you can go on a massive fishing exercise, and then you can get the proof of the fact that they are lying. That can't happen in England or Scotland. English common law requires that you have to prove your accusation. The other party doesn't have to prove anything. You have to prove everything, and you have to do it within the law. Now, the law does not allow you in this country to take DNA samples of anybody without their consent, or, of course, if they are minors, without the consent of their guardians legally, which would usually be their legal parents. Also, the government is not allowed to act unlawfully. Of course, we all know all governments do act unlawfully, but they're not allowed to do it and to do it overtly. And in this instance, it would have to be done overtly. Similarly, the royal family is constrained by the law. Harry managed to get Archie's birth certificate as a result of the claiming that Archie was born at Portland Hospital to a woman who was identified at the time of the birth as the Duchess of Sussex, but was not Meghan, was not Rachel Meghan, Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex, because had it been Rachel Meghan, Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex, they wouldn't have needed to amend the birth certificate to eliminate Meghan as the possibility of the woman who gave birth to the baby. So there's all of that. These are all legal realities that the palace can't work its way around. You can't work your way around. I can't work my way around. The mainstream media can't work its way around. Mr. whatever his name is in America, maybe he can work his way around, because in America, the laws are different. And he can say anything he wants, can't he? And ultimately, it's up to Harry and Meghan to sue. And if they sue, and it's in America, then they're going to have to, for instance, explain why it is that they lied about the time of the birth of the child. Why is it they said that, why is it that Harry informed the registrar that the woman who gave birth to the child was Rachel Meghan, Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex, but obviously the woman who gave birth was only identified at the hospital as Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex, and they had to remove the distinguishing features of Rachel Meghan. So we can provide the evidence of all the irregularities that have taken place, and we are safe to do so legally. But we can't go beyond that. If in America they choose to go beyond that, Harry and Meghan then have a choice. They sue, in which case they can be deposed and would be deposed, and then they have to explain away all of the anomalies that exist. And let's not forget the anomalies go before the birth of the child. The anomalies go with the deep dive that Archie did at Birkenhead between Meghan's knees on January the 14th, and Meghan's claims to be suicidal on January the 16th at the Cirque du Soleil, and that Meghan said that she was crumpled up in a ball and was suicidal, and Harry had to get her, blah, blah, blah. But she was fully professionally made up for the Cirque du Soleil, and she was at Mayhew that day. So again, her story doesn't match. These are all hurdles that they would have to jump over. And as Blake Lively has shown in the Justin Baldoni case, you can say any damn thing you want, but ultimately it comes back to bite you when you are deposed and you have the reality beside your false claims. So does that explain
It
it? I mean,
does, and it's very interesting, Lady C. Thank you for that explanation. It was also fascinating this week, Lady C, and I'm not directly linking this in any way to Milo Yiannopoulos' post. It's more, I think, to do with the disastrous situation that was never finds itself in. But Meghan Markle is now finally...
Dan, sorry, that I love that we both say was never.
Well, I stole it from you, and I hold my hands up, but it's just too
Darling,
good.
darling, I gave it to you. It's our love child.
Well, I will take it, and I will love it, Lady C. But really, she's finally acknowledging that she has made big mistakes, which is interesting to me. She believes that a new PR team is going to be able to solve it. Well, that's delusional because, of course, she's had about 11 PR teams. But I do want to take you through this exclusive reporting from the Daily Express here in the UK because I think it's interesting. So she's hiring this new team of PRs in a bid to win over the British public. That is, of course, because of the fact that she is returning. But an insider close to the couple, and we do realise at the moment, Lady C, people close to these two are singing like canaries, revealed that they see the visit as a make or break chance for Harry to try and reconcile with King Charles and Prince William. And they have brought in a team made up of celebrity and crisis PRs who have worked with infamous names in a bid to rebuild Meghan's image with the British public. The source said Meghan knows that she in particular will have to eat humble pie if she wants any chance of winning Harry's family and the public over, and she is ready to admit she needs the help. She's been instructed that she is back in the UK as Prince Harry's wife and should only have a background role. This is her time to show people she is capable of not playing up to the cameras. Meghan has taken it all on board and is very keen to show the British public she is not the enemy. She and Harry deeply regret speaking about the royals on TV and would love a second chance. The insider added Meghan realised she's been given bad advice from her PRs for a while and it has hurt her reputation. They were trying to make her the next Diana and to give her a sickly sweet image which came across as insincere. Meghan has realised this was a mistake and wants to make sure this visit goes right for Harry's sake. The team is on the case and working hard to develop an action plan to win her back. The public's favour a lot is resting on this. Now, look, Lady C, I obviously think she's totally delusional to think any new PR team can change anything because, of course, a PR team is still only working with a particular celebrity or a particular public figure, and she's had about 11 of these teams. However, Lady C, a couple of interesting things in there because maybe Meghan is finally waking up to some of the damage she's done. This briefing that she realises that she'll have to eat humble pie, blaming, the fact that her old team was trying to make her as sweet as Diana, which, we know.
She's blaming people for her, but these were her choices.
Well, yes.
The PR people didn't set this up. She had about 10 or 11 sets of PR people, and there was a consistency throughout it all. Look, and let's not forget, Harry was also saying how much like his mother, Meghan, was. So all of a sudden, it's the PR people who are to blame. I mean, give me a break, and she's obviously desperate. And she's obviously trying to weasel her way back in. And if I can tell you something, I know from my own experience of people like Meghan, because remember, I wrote a book on the Meghans of this world. I've actually written more than one, but I wrote one particularly on personality disordered individuals. If Meghan is let back in as a member of the working royal family, it's only a matter of time before she creates havoc again. So that's not going to happen. And if she, oh, by the way, if you're hearing that, that's on the police on the Fulham Road. I'm filming from London. Interestingly enough, in the United Kingdom, well, certainly in England, you are not allowed by local government to install in conservation areas or grade 1 listed buildings. You're not allowed to install air conditioning. I mean, it's an absolute impertinence that the local government has been given this degree of power. But this is a flat in London, and it's an old flat, and none of these flats is air conditioned. So, but to go back, Dan, to what I was saying about Meghan,
Yes, please.
she's desperate, and she's playing her last cards, and she is now so desperate that she is prepared to let people think that she will eat humble pie. Well, snakes shed their skins, they still remain snakes. And there is no way that the British people, by and large, are going to be so duped that they are going to think that Meghan was somehow misled by her 10 firms of PR whom she paid millions of dollars to, and she was a very reluctant Diana Mac too, because remember she's now trying to make out that she was effectively forced to present herself as Diana. She wasn't forced to present herself as Diana. She chose to present herself as a very tacky Diana. And I've said all along that she doesn't have any of Diana's virtues at all. And even if she has some of her failings, Diana actually was a great lady, and Diana had many virtues, none of which Meghan has. So, I think she's doomed to failure. And if it's not, I have to tell you, I would be very disappointed that people would be so easily duped by this con woman that they would believe that she has spent millions of dollars getting herself in the mainstream media and newspapers and magazines on a daily basis. And that she was somehow reluctant, and she didn't really mean to pretend to be Diana, and she also is going to eat humble pie. She, like all narcissistic personalities, when their back is against the wall, they'll say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. But they're not sorry. They're not sorry. They're simply using apology as a technique to reassert themselves down the line.
Lady C, there was also some worrying news from a PR perspective for King Charles this week, with the Daily Telegraph revealing this major Ipsos Mori poll showing that support for the monarchy is at its lowest level in 30 years. The number of British people who still want the country to be a monarchy has jumped by 11 percentage points to 55%. The figure reflects, according to the Telegraph, diminishing support for the monarchy in younger age groups. But the worrying thing is it's the lowest in 33 years of Ipsos polling. So the public reported a 69% approval rating in 1993. But Lady C, I mean, you remember a lot about 1993. You were reporting on it and writing about it in your book at the time. That was the annus horribilis with the end of the three marriages, not to mention the fire at Windsor Castle. It reached a high of 80% support. I mean, that's astonishing in the modern era, Lady C, but that was in 2012 at the Diamond Jubilee. And gosh, I really think we remember those scenes in the United Kingdom, don't we? It was the same year as the London Olympics. It was the year with the Queen had a body double jump out of the sky to arrive at the stadium in London for the Olympics opening ceremony. Oh, it just gives me goosebumps. It was a wonderful year for the monarchy. It gradually dropped to 60% in the year before she died in 2022. Now, that is probably in part because of what Harry and Meghan did and also the Andrew scandal. But now 6 in 10 of those surveyed say the monarchy has an important role to play in the future of Britain, but 30% say it does not. The number of respondents who would prefer a republic was 27%. 6 in 10 people believe the king is doing a good job, but 71% report the same for William. But this is a major poll, Lady C, and the most significant drop, and this is maybe the worrying thing, has been among young people. It found that 33% of 18 to 34-year-olds support a monarchy today. That's compared with 74% in 2013. Just over half of 34 to 54-year-olds support the royal family as an institution, compared with 74% of over 55. So, look, the reality is, Lady C, you can't deny at the moment that the monarchy is suffering a significant slump, especially around young people. I guess my question to you is, do you think that is going to be solved once William takes the throne, once we see much more of George, Charlotte and Louis? Is this a blip? Or actually, is it something that the royal family should be much, much more concerned about as a fundamental sort of existential crisis?
Well, I think, Dan, they're always concerned. I don't think that they ever cease being concerned. I will say that I did a debate at the Oxford Union about 3 weeks ago. I think this house believes that the monarchy died with Queen Elizabeth II. And I was the lead second opposer, and the head of Republic was the lead proposer, and on this after me was Hugo Vickers, and after Hugo was Dickie Arbiter, and
what a lineup!
Yeah, and we were against the guy from Republic, whose name escapes me, but he's very nice. He's lovely. He's actually friends of mine, as it turns out, really of my children. Then there was Anna Pasternak, and there was Peter Tatchell, who's absolutely lovely. I mean, we had a lovely dinner before, and, it was all very civilized. But we
very
all
English.
expected that we would lose. We won hands down.
Really? That's fascinating, because the Oxford Union is regarded these days, Lady C, as being pretty left-wing.
That's right. And we were convinced we would lose. And we won hands down, significantly. So I think that, but most young people are more radical and most young people generally, irrespective of their nationality, are more in favor of change, and they don't think of what the change will be. They just want change. And it's so, but the very young in this country are far more conservative than Generation Z, which is very interesting, because that's what the statistics show. And I think the monarchy cannot afford to be complacent. But I think an awful lot of the damage that is being done by the stories emanating, to a large extent, with the collusion of the mainstream media from California. And, the constant belittlement of William and Catherine, and the constant creation of supposed problems with Charles and Camilla, and some of the things that people believe and that are written about are beyond belief. Camilla has stolen a whole load of jewelry, and she's handed it on to her daughter, and she wants titles for her daughter and son, blah, 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 all utter rubbish. But to a lot of this, the average person isn't even going to think very deeply about. They're just going to, oh, well, it's there. They sort of accept it, and they don't think very deeply about it. But when they think, they then begin to realize that things are not quite as knee-jerk as the polls would suggest. And that was what we came away understanding after the debate at the Oxford Union, because we really did not expect to win. It was a total shock to us that we won.
Well, congratulations, and that does give us a little bit of hope, Lady C, because of course.
Dan, can I say it wasn't due to the fact that we were superb debaters and the other side weren't. It was due to the fact that the three of us actually stuck to the facts. And when you are pro-monarchist and you stick to the facts, and you are anti-monarchist, because you can't stick to the facts and prevail as an anti-monarchist. You can only prevail if you do not stick to the facts. And if and a wealth of prejudice and presupposition. And of course, the young, certainly at the Oxford Union, were sufficiently intelligent enough to see through the claptrap.
Really
And
interesting.
I suspect that in any serious debate on the subject, the average person would see through, because I'm a great believer that the average person's a lot more intelligent than the mainstream media give them credit for being.
Yeah, Graham Smith is the name of the guy from Republic. I just remembered it because I've asked him to be on Outspoken, but he doesn't have the guts to come and debate me here. So I love the fact that he debated you at the Oxford Union.
No, I think he's the chairman, and I think the one who did it was a young man. I can't remember his name,
Got it.
but he's absolutely lovely.
Okay.
And he's a friend of some of my children's friends. So,
Lady C, you know everyone. You know everyone. Thank you so much, Lady C.
Much of what has circulated online and in today's discussion touches on theories, allegations, and speculation that, it should be noted, remain unverified. From claims about the Sussex children to questions surrounding Archie's birth records, these narratives have attracted significant attention, but they have not been established as fact by any independent legal or journalistic investigation. What is clear, however, is that the legal landscape in England differs substantially from that of the United States. As royal commentators have pointed out, English common law places the burden of proof squarely on the accuser. Unlike American civil proceedings, where a deposition can open a broad avenue of discovery, no party in the UK can compel DNA testing or access private medical records without consent. That distinction matters enormously when evaluating how far any of these claims could realistically progress, regardless of who is making them or on which platform. Reports suggest that figures such as Milo Yiannopoulos, posting to a large American audience on social media, may face fewer of those constraints. Critics argue that amplifying such claims without legal substantiation risks misleading the public. Supporters of more open scrutiny, however, maintain that questions around official records, including reported amendments to Archie's birth certificate, deserve transparent answers that have not yet been formally provided. Separately, reports from British outlets this week indicate that Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, has assembled a new public relations team ahead of an anticipated UK visit, one described by sources close to the couple as a potential turning point for Harry's relationships with King Charles and Prince William. According to those reports, the Duchess has been advised to take a background role and has acknowledged, through intermediaries, that past communication strategies may have been misjudged. Royal commentators have noted this is not the first repositioning attempt, and some observers remain deeply skeptical that a change in advisors alone can alter public perception at this stage. Against that backdrop, a newly published Ipsos poll adds a further dimension to the story. Support for the monarchy now stands at 55%, its lowest recorded level in 33 years of polling. Most notably, backing among 18 to 34-year-olds has fallen from 74% in 2013 to just 33% today. Whether that reflects the cumulative effect of high-profile controversies, broader generational shifts, or both, is a question royal analysts are actively debating. Until independently verified facts emerge across these intersecting stories, public debate and media scrutiny are unlikely to quieten. So the question we leave you with today: do you believe the monarchy's declining poll numbers reflect a temporary moment or something more fundamental about Britain's relationship with the Crown? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want more analysis like this, please do hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss next videos.